28 years since we left here. We're in Ingleby Barwick, or some people sometimes pronounced it Ingleby Barwick. There was always a fierce debate about that. So there's the Teal Arms, and that is where we had our wedding reception, our wedding feast, isn't it?
It is indeed. It looks just the same, doesn't it?
It looks more or less the same. I think it used to be, before this was built on, this was farmland, this was the farmhouse. And the building on the left, which is now a one-stop, that was Jag Powell's. And when we were here, when we moved here in 1989, that was the one and only shop. And the school that the boys went to, Windsor School, is just across there. It's almost the same, just been extended. So that's the Teal Arms. And I can't remember these little units here. They've been different things in time. One was a Chinese takeaway at one stage. One was a hairdresser's, and I can't remember the name of the people who ran that. They went to the church, didn't they? And at one stage there was a hardware and sort of garden shop here where we bought a garden broom from that is still going strong and we still use. It's been a good broom, that broom. It's lasted a long time. I think it's had 5 new handles and 6 new brushes. So that's the Teal Arms. A little bit different. And down there used to be the porter cabin with the temporary church in it. But where we lived was along this way somewhere, if we've got it right. So when we moved here, or when I came and had a look at properties, they were all being built. So the property I put a deposit on, I think you had to pay £100 to reserve it, and just fill in a fairly simple form. But it didn't actually exist. It was just a cross on a map, really. Yeah, we knew some people that lived along here. There was our first neighbours, who were, one of them was a vet. They moved from the smaller house next to us. They moved into a bigger house here, and I think they moved into a property that was occupied by, was it by the chap who was the organist, Tom Edmonds, or was it Florrie Hunt? I can't remember. It was all connected. They sold up a property, and the people who first lived next to us in the slightly small, I think it was a 2-bedroomed house, when they had a baby. Yeah. I think they had a baby, and then they moved to a slightly bigger one. Yeah. Once they'd obviously got themselves established. I suppose what is different after all these years is the trees and so on. It's all quite mature now. Yeah. So when we first moved in, it was, pretty. Things had been planted, but it was still very new, very bare. And indeed, at one stage, the pavements weren't completed, and there was just cones along the side of the road and that sort of stuff. So where we lived was just this coming up to it on the left hand side. So these were built by shepherd homes, shepherds of York.
You see the little white rose on them, can't you?
Oh yes, yes you can. They've got a little, most of them, or some of them, have got a little white rose on them, which was the shepherds of York symbol. And shepherds of York, they also had put this sort of lozenge design in brick on a lot of the external walls. So that's Fallow Close, and we were in Partridge Close. We'll have a little walk up there, and we were at number 4, but this is Partridge Close. So there we go, Partridge Close. We'll continue our walk up here. It's pretty well, some dogs barking at us in greeting, and we were at number 4, which is just past this larger house which stood out a little bit from ours.
They've got some bars, haven't they?
And our house, which I still think of as our house, looks very, very different now. So that's number 4, and that's where we were. We had a green door, remember that. Can't really remember any of the other neighbours. There were a lot of young, a lot of families here, a lot of young families. But that was our house there. So the lawn is gone. We had a gravel drive. Windows have all been replaced with double glazing. We only had, when we moved in, it was just wooden windows, quite nice dark wooden windows.
Yeah.
But all the windows have been replaced now, which makes good sense. They were just single glazed wooden windows. So that's where we were, number 4. But the thing that is still there is the sign on the wall that show the fire hydrant sign. I can also remember that being there, but there was just the grassy bit at the front, and they've got an outside light fitted. Yeah, and the garage. Well, I think probably the garage is the same garage. I don't know. It looks the garage looks slightly different, but maybe it's the same. I don't know.
I think it's the same.
But we'll have a little stroll. What we could do is perhaps go up to the road and have a look at it from the back.
Yeah.
That might be quite interesting.
Yeah.
So we just come around the corner onto Pheasant Close. So some of these houses here, we knew the people in as far as their gardens back down onto the side of ours. And of course, when we moved in, there were no fences or anything, so you got to know your neighbours pretty rapidly. And we did come to a couple of parties on Pheasant Close, didn't we?
We
and
did.
I think one chap who invited us, he was a lecturer at what was Teesside Poly at the time. And this tunnel leads through to Beckfields, which was the second development made here. We were on Lowfields, which was the first one.
This was all scrubland.
This was all scrubland here. This was just a bank, just a plain bank of earth and the trees. There was no path along here, and our house is just on our the left-hand side. We'll go a little bit higher up, so we can see. Yeah, it's quite hidden away now. So it's got the yellow box on it. So that bedroom window there, that was the boys' room until Alan moved into the smaller bedroom on the front, and then that was Simon's room. And then next door to it is obviously the bathroom. Yeah, so the gardens here are obviously more mature now. The trees are bigger. You can't really see into what was our garden. It was quite a decent garden, and I know it looks quite foreshortened from here. But the bit I liked was always the bit nearest the kitchen window and the kitchen door, which all seems, because it looks south, you got the sun, and it's quite a nice place to sit of an evening. You can just see the garage extending back sort of into the garden, and the evergreens at the back there, they're probably the ones we planted, aren't they? Although they might well be. We did plant Leylandi at the back there in order to create a screen, so they might well be the original trees. They could be. Difficult. No, they don't. But this area now, Ingleby Barwick, is ginormous. When we first moved here, it was just a very small development, but it covers a big area now, as big as Thornaby-on-Tees, the original town. They obviously take cycling on the pavement to a new level here. So we walked up to Middle Road, and originally you'd come up the road from Thornaby, which is behind us, and if you came up this far, the road ended. You had to you just went round to the right. You couldn't go anywhere else. But of course now you can go straight on, and ahead of us there's another pub. I think there's a Tesco's, there's a garage, all sorts down there, and it's become a very big area. I think the new church is down there somewhere. We'll have a walk down Middle Road, and we'll see where the church used to be when it was a porter cabin. And the bus stop here on the left is where Alan used to catch his bus that took him to the senior school in Eaglescliffe, which is just the other side of the Tees, because at that point there was no senior school in Ingleby Barwick. There were plenty. There was I think one primary school. There might have been a second one later on. But for senior schools, children either went to St Paddy's or St Patrick's in Thornaby, or they went across the Tees to Eaglescliffe or Conyers at Yarm. And then we used to come down, turn right into Keeper's Lane, and then back round to Partridge Close. And these houses, these first houses here on the left, you can see actually they're 3 or 4 different designs. They were the original show homes, and I think number 4 was the used as the sales office for Shepherd Homes. The porter cabin with the church was somewhere just ahead of us on the grassy knoll, I think. Yeah, the porter cabin for the church services, and the porter cabin was well used. They used to have guides and brownies and beavers and cubs and all that sort of stuff going on, and plenty of other sort of hobby groups, keep fit and all that sort of stuff. But it served as the church base. It was St Francis of Assisi, and the vicar that we knew, who actually married us, conducted the service of blessing after our marriage at Middlesbrough Register Office, was Father Tyrone Hillary. Father Tyrone had spent time in the army, and after his ministry here, he went and served in the Gulf War as an army chaplain in '91. And then he rejoined the army as an army chaplain, and I think enjoyed, if that's the right word. We certainly had a long career, as far as I know, in the army, serving all over the world, including, I know he served in Bosnia and the Balkans. But he was a nice chap. He was very friendly, looked after everybody, and was keen to get out and meet people, talk to people. And the most innovative thing he did was he organised a men's group, but instead of having a men's group, in the church or in the church hall, he decided you do the right thing. You'd go to where, as the vicar, he'd go to where the men were, which was the pub. So his men's group, he had a men's group in the pub on a Monday night, and you'd meet and have a few beers, he usually got a speaker in, somebody to come and talk to us, and it was great fun. Apart from the occasion when I'd had rather too much Tetley's Imperial and struggled to get up the stairs when I got home. But the porter cabin, I think, was here.
I'm sure it was here.
This is where the church stood. Long gone, obviously long gone now, and it's just grassland and the trees. And the vicarage was, I think, down Barwick Fields, down one of these roads on the left-hand side, I think. Down there somewhere. And then down this way, I think on the left, one of the church wardens lived, and again I can't remember his name, but I think he used to work for Northern Electric or Northern Power, and he was a trumpet player. He lived, I don't think he lived in that one, the bungalow. I think he lived in the bigger house next door, but I might be wrong. And then this path just cuts back through. We've gone round in a bit of a circle, cuts back through and will bring us up to the teal and the shops. Oh, of course, there's the doctor. Well, used to be doctor's surgery here. Barwick Medical Centre. It used to be. I've forgotten that. That wasn't open originally. It was built while we were here. I've no idea what that is now.
It does say it's a medical centre.
Does it say it's some? Yeah, it's no signage on it on this side. It was, I think, originally an offshoot of Thornaby Medical Centre, which is where we registered for a doctor. And, we just the other side. That's where we walked earlier. It's just along that path there up to Partridge Close, and then we get up here back to the shops.
Yeah.
So we've just walked over to the school. Have a look at. Well, it does say on here it's Winstone Primary School on the Weight Watchers sign, but I can't see anything else that says it's Winstone School. But it is. But I thought there used to be a big sign up. It was again when the boys started here. It was beautiful. Well, I guess it still is. It's a beautiful brand new school. It was very, very new, and they've obviously extended the school with this new building on the left-hand side, which looks like it's a big hall or gymnasium or something like that. Yes, that's the school. The school directly opposite the pub. So I guess that's convenient for the teachers on a Friday afternoon. We've just moved round to a different part of Ingleby Barwick, and we've moved round to the new church. And Pamela was just explaining a little bit about that.
First of all, the thing that they were going to do was build I don't know what it's called, the tower with the bell in the top of it. It's got a special name.
Campanile.
That's it,
Is
a
that the word?
Campanile. They were going to build the
sure.
Campanile first, and then they were going to build it, but like as a village hall, so they could use it. It could be of general use to people, and then they were going to extend it to include a dedicated church space.
Okay.
So I don't know quite how much of that got done, but I remember that was the plan.
That was underway in the 1990s, and they obviously achieved their objective. And it's a Sunday morning. It's only just gone 11 o'clock, but whether the services are over with or perhaps they've not had anything on today, I don't know. We've got some nice car parking on the site, and the grounds are very attractive, all this greenery, but there's no vicar at the moment, which I think always makes it difficult for churches. So that's the campanile, which was built. And you think that was built first?
That's what they were talking about. They were
just
going to
building
get
that,
the
so they
site
got to
and build that,
get the site and build that,
and then
build the
first.
hall. So the church then is the building. Well, the building here. It's obviously a very modern design. It's not a traditional church. So no, and there is a plaque here. Here we go. There's a sign here. This bell tower, so they just call it a bell tower, was donated by Yarmside Holdings to celebrate the millennium and the future of the people of Ingleby Barwick, and was dedicated by the Right Reverend Robert Lads, the Bishop of Whitby, on Saturday the 2nd of September 2000. And the architects from Middlesbrough, built by Leach Homes, Newcastle. So that's the campanile, or the bell tower. And that's obviously a different Bishop of Whitby from the one that we met, whose name I think he was Gordon, wasn't he? I think his first name was Gordon. But so that's the east window. So that must be the east window. So you get more of a sense of it being a church now. So you've got the east window with it fanning out either side. If we've got a mask, we can probably go in and have a look. The doors are open. We'll see the signs here. Look.